Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Jim Carrey Project. This is the project where we are going through all of Jim Carrey's films in chronological order. I am your host, Brian Kondrach, and with me, as always, is
Carrie Grant.
Carrie Grant. Welcome aboard to our show. Welcome aboard. Today, we just got finished watching The Number 23. This was a 2006 release? 2007? It's a 2007 release. Directed by Joel Schumacher. Produced by Beau Flynn, Trip Vinson, written by Fernley Phillips, which sounds made up anyway. And then it was starring Jim Carrey, Virginia Madsen, Logan Lerman, and Danny Huston. Psychological thriller, etc., etc. What'd you think?
You go first. What do you think?
God. This is an intense movie. This is something that is way different than anything we've seen before. We've seen Jim Carrey do some emotional, heavier, dramatic movies, but like to jump into this thriller, unknown, psychological thriller, like it's a real left turn, real sharp left turn, especially because we just watched. What did we watch the other day?
Fun with Dick and Jane.
Fun with Dick and Jane.
One.
So, this is like about a year apart, 2 years apart or something. But, to go from Fun with Dick and Jane to The Number 23, it's like, that's a different relationship. That's a different feel. That's a very different kind of thing.
He's good, though.
Yeah, he was very powerful in this movie.
Totally believable in all of it,
He goes off the deep end and, like... So the premise is that he finds this book, and then it is basically mirrors his life, but he doesn't know who wrote this, and then plot twist that, spoilers is that we find out that it was him the whole time, and he has this weird dark secret that amnesia caused him to forget. So, it's incredible. Like him.
I mean, it's a descent into madness for sure, which he does really well. Like it's just, and he is like kind of funny in the beginning again, has a couple little jokes. He's a dog catcher and he was like kind of cute with catching that first dog, and then it was kind of a weird thing, it bit him, and then he went to it like disappeared in the graveyard. It's always a graveyard.
There's always something. Hold on one second, we're gonna make some adjustments because we're gonna film this once.
There we go.
Just for lighting.
The sun just came out.
The sun came out. Sorry.
It's right now.
No, you're right. Like he starts out so endearing, and it's like it's funny to again comparing it to Fun with Dick and Jane. Like the relationship that he has with his family and his son and his wife, is very earnest and very true.
Solid,
and it's something that Jim Carrey has shown time and time again
really great at that
he is good at creating these emotional bonds with the people he shares this film with. And then it just is like, what is happening now?
Yeah, that part is solid all the way through, and then stays till the end even. But to see his character change, but really slowly in the beginning, just when he's starting to figure out the 23 and how the 23 is affecting him and how he's just starting to do all the math, and then his son kind of agrees and is doing it too, and it's just slow, and he reads the book really slowly.
It's chapter 1. 4 days later.
She's like, I already read it, and he's like, well, what are you on chapter 2? It's like a day in.
She finished it the night she got it. He didn't finish it for 5
but I think
6
it makes
days.
sense because you see the steps of him getting more and more pulled into it,
more paranoid and more just.
And it's funny enough, now that it's over, I'm like, I think maybe I've seen this, but even till the end, I still didn't know it was him. So maybe I didn't see it. I don't know, but it felt familiar to me.
You have the retrograde amnesia.
I totally do.
For this movie,
I have the same problem. Yes. So so I still did not know, spoiler, that it was him till the end. And they're introducing other characters, but the professor who worked with him when he was, so basically, well, I don't know. I guess, should we tell the story more or no? I don't know.
It's kind of hard.
I don't want to ruin it.
It's kind of hard to tell a story where it's just like everybody. What's strange about it is everybody has two parts in this movie. Everybody has their real life, this is the world. This is where Jim Carrey's character Walter Sparrow is going crazy.
Yeah,
like. And then there's the weird shadowy version of it.
And while he's reading it, he and his wife play the characters lots of times what he's reading.
He plays the character in the book, and then she plays like the girlfriend in the book that's like the other detective person and stuff like that.
And it goes, sometimes it flips so fast, you're always like, okay, which Jim Carrey is that? Because he'll like, lots of times he's dreaming too, and he wakes up and he's the character in the book. Yeah. Or, I don't know, like there's a lot going on. So it's flipping around a lot.
And it gets a little confusing at points where it's just like, wait, where are we? Because especially towards the end, the seams or the differentiations between the fantasy world and the real world definitely come together pretty quickly, and you're like, the lighting is so that like the feeling of that the real world is very much like dark and red and a little cloudy and a little hazy. You can't really tell. Whereas like the fantasy world that starts off super overexposed, super like sepia and super like designed
light
from the front.
The lighting with
a lot of real
the
blonde
girl,
and blurry and stuff.
What did they call her? The blind suicide. The blonde suicide was very. They never really talked about that part when they explained it at the end. But her lighting was very weird and hazy and stuff too. So I mean. It was going back to him. He is like completely believable in this spiral that he goes down, and like
he starts off having these moments of humor, and then he goes and it just becomes these moments of just sheer panic and terror and like not knowing who he was. Like, at the end of it, where like he is really intense when he goes crazy. That's what I wrote on there, when he's in the room by himself, like reliving his whole like writing of and like realizing that he is the author of this book. It's just like, holy shoot, Jim Carrey, like this is intense.
And then to flip it too, he played basically another character, which was himself. But I mean, in the end, but like while he's reading the book, he's playing that other character who is, with this girlfriend,
tribal
tattoos, which is funny because I mean he didn't have those. I guess that's, I don't know. That part is probably made up. I guess, but like in his like white beater and like, and because he's a detective and like I don't know, just the kind of like the sex he was having with like his girlfriend at the time, kind of like wild and crazy and he was just like such a bad boy. Although the saxophone thing,
he never played the saxophone.
No, he held it a lot, but it was funny. Like he was the bad boy with the saxophone. Like
Jim, he's
not Kenny G, okay?
And let's be honest, there's no bad boy if you know how to play the saxophone.
Kenny G has a lot of hair. I don't know.
That's just that particular instrument doesn't have the bad boy feel to it.
Anyway, I just thought that part was
sexy,
funny.
maybe, but not bad boy.
But anyway, so he played basically this other character too, which he was great as well. Like had a different feel to him for sure than Walter did, especially at the time. Walter was a little more goody-goody, and then in the end we realized, maybe he was a little insane and crazy or whatever.
Bonkers.
But like he played those two characters really well too.
I think everybody.
It's a lot to process. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get through this episode because I'm like
what is
still figuring it out.
Brain's going to like leak out of your ears.
Yes.
Like just talking about playing two different characters. Like I think everybody did a really good job. It's a very limited cast.
Yes.
There's only 4 main characters, 3 if you really think about like the son is there, but only in reality. Whereas his wife plays 2 characters, her friend plays 2 characters, Jim Carrey plays 2 characters. They all have really distinct looks, which is great costume design and great just like
it did help with
design on that one.
Figuring out
dark hair, dark clothing versus blonde hair.
It did help when it was flipping back and forth to look at them closely and be like, okay, that's that one. That's that one.
But the girl who played his wife. Madsen something or other. Like I'd seen her. Virginia Madsen. She did a great job of being the dark, sultry, little overly sexual, like dark fantasy kind of girl, and then the housewife that is very honest and true, like
sweet and bakes cakes,
and then Logan Lerman. That's the son. Danny Huston is the professor, the friend. It's hard to see him in the fantasy world where he has that terrible goatee, which is straight out of like a Star Trek episode where there's the evil universe is everybody has the goatee, and the good universe, everyone's clean shaven and stuff. True. That was funny. But I always recognize him as from the X-Men movie, the Wolverine movies, and he's been in a lot of stuff. I mean, he was in 41 Grams, Aviator, X-Men Origins, Constant Gardener, Succession, Game Night, like Wonder Woman. Like he plays a good bad guy. Yeah. And he's got that look that just like you're like the kind of pointy eyebrows. And, like, there's something you don't trust about him the whole time.
Totally. And he doesn't seem completely like bad guy, but there's something like something's not right about him.
He knows something, and it's clear that he knows something the whole movie.
Yeah.
From the very beginning of the time that we meet him, like we assume that he's hiding something, so we assume that he's probably going to be the bad guy, but ends up being that he is one of the ones retaining the secrets of the truth, which is like a little kind of crazy
and trying to help. Actually,
and so, but he plays such good. He does both sides of the coin really well too. I really like him.
Yeah.
And then this is a Joel Schumacher film, which. This is the second time Jim Carrey's worked with Joel Schumacher.
What was the first one?
It was Batman, Batman Forever, where he was the Riddler and stuff. So a little bit of an obsessive, a little bit of like a weirdo in that character.
Totally.
Not as a cartoony in this one versus the Joel Schumacher Batman, where he plays the Riddler.
You can kind of see it with some of the darkness in the scenes and the. Sometimes even like the movement of stuff, I can kind of see a little bit of similarities. Not completely. It's a very different movie, but
and it's interesting. This is also the second memory movie that we get with Jim Carrey. That's a little weird after Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So he's kind of taken this mid 2000s career, the last part of his like rise to fame section, according to his Wikipedia, and like starting to dive into some other things that might not be the normal path for someone who's a comedic actor like this. If you go to the IMDb page and go to like the trivia section, there, or like the do you know section, there are so many things of like people posting. Oh, the DVD length is 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 8 seconds. So 1, 4 plus 1 plus 8 equals 23.
I did my name while I was sitting here, and my name I could not get. I got a 36 and a 54, and I couldn't get a 23 out of anything.
What did you do? Your middle name?
I only did my first name.
What about your maiden name?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. That's what he does. He's like, okay, it didn't work with this name, but if I add my middle name and I do this and that, so it just shows like,
it was distracting.
You could see where people like. Try to make things work, and it's very much like when people what do they have when they do the counting and stuff like that.
I would not say schizophrenia, but it's obsessive compulsive disorders
OCD
and things
stuff.
like that.
Like I had it felt a little bit like that, except it's not like the counting or the doing things. It was just like looking for it everywhere and then finding it.
If you look for it, you will find it.
Yeah.
If you look for anything in the world, I'm looking for a white VW bug. I'll find it everywhere that I look for it.
Yeah.
If I look for the number 23, I'll find it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 PlayStation 3 games plus 2 or 3 Zelda games. 16 plus 3 is
plus 4
19
speakers.
Plus 4 speakers is 23.
Oh,
my entertainment system is 23. I'm crazy.
Yeah. They even said it in here, like I guess like his dad or somebody was looking for someone in a red dress, and they found someone in a red dress, and then they married him, and that wasn't the right person. So then you're looking for someone else in a red dress.
Yeah,
like
you find it when you look for it.
You can like your brain does do stuff like that. It can play tricks on you, and if you let it or if you indulge it, then things like that can feel very, very real. I mean, I never got very much into OCD, but I kind of remember in high school, like having weird things, especially during sports and stuff, where I would be like, it was playing softball, like when you're out in the field waiting a lot, and I'd be like, okay, if I do this, or if I put my hands on my knees at a certain time, or if I do this, then the ball will come to me, or not, whatever I want, or not come to me.
It becomes that superstitious kind of
you
feel.
can see why like sports people and stuff do that, because like you can convince your mind of a lot of things.
You can figure it out. Yeah, I was looking at this. This is Joel Schumacher's 23rd project to direct, not his 23rd project, because then I was going to look at it. But it's like he's done other projects where he's been on it.
Oh my gosh.
So you can find it. It got almost distracting at that point. Like this movie has such bad ratings on like Rotten Tomato and stuff, because I think it's because you get distracted by some of the just like weirdness of it. But thinking about it now, like Jim Carrey played a pretty strong character, pretty strong parts, and I'm not. There's a couple of points when I was watching it that I was like, this is confusing. I don't know what the heck is happening. I don't know why I'm watching this. But like once you wrap it up and you get to the end of it, like I feel pleasantly surprised with the intensity of this movie. And like, I'm glad I spent the last hour and 23 minutes. What? No, 38 minutes. The last hour and 38 minutes watching this.
I was about to be like, what? Thank God.
The last hour and 38 minutes of the day, like, I'm glad I watched it. I'd never seen it.
It probably could have been a little shorter. I think that's maybe what you were saying is like it did
15 minutes shorter.
Yeah, just a little bit. They probably just an hour and 23 would have been perfect. No, really, it could have. I think there was a few parts that it went into something more than it needed to, or it was kind of doing the same thing, like when he was kind of getting crazy or back. I don't know what exactly to cut out, but I think it could have been.
It's the scenes, I think, with like the suicide blonde, where like that conversation just seems to go on a little too long, and then
it never came back to anything.
And then the coffee cup is red with the lipstick, and it's like there's so many things.
There's parts that like
okay, just. Let's move
and maybe, and I was writing notes like that. Like, do I need to remember that and stuff? And then in the end, now I'm realizing like some of the stuff you don't really need to know. Maybe it was trying to throw you off. Maybe that's what the idea was. I
guess so.
Like, because it's a thriller, so you're like trying to figure it out the whole time, and I don't know. So
there's speculation that even the first thing on the IMDb trivia is Jim Carrey claims to have been obsessed with the number 23 long before being a part of the movie. Whereas,
it's funny he's going to bring that up.
And I mentioned it last time, which his entertainment company, production company, is called JC23.
Oh.
Which,
what does
JC
mean?
Jim Carrey. Yeah, Jim Carrey 23. Which he might have started.
I was trying to read something more into that than it was.
Yeah, he might have started that when he was 23 or something, and he is
maybe he just likes the number.
That's what he got paid as when he was doing Ace Ventura or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But then he was like, oh, his father was also an accountant and played the saxophone, which is like, ooh, maybe it's even more things.
Well, so we know that when he did what was the one with? Sorry.
Yeah, we always forget what we're talking about.
yeah. The one that he got really into the character.
Oh, the Jim and Andy
Andy Kaufman Man on the Moon. Yes. Yeah. So we know he got really into that. Was like,
super obsessed.
There's a whole show that we haven't even watched about this transformation he did during that movie, and I did wonder, doing something like this, which he hasn't done before, if he would get that sort of obsessiveness again with something like this, and the fact that he already was into 23, and then obviously they came to him with this movie. I'm guessing it was already 23, and
there's already he's gonna go.
I'm wondering
deeper.
If it kind of messes with your head even more. if he comes out of this and
is even a little. He might have to go into more transcendental meditation to try and
get it out.
Crazy.
It
might be why he did Horton Hears a Who after this one. I need something.
I need to cleanse, get it out. Because I could see he's such a good actor, and I'm sure he's. I don't know if he's so method, but he's so into it that it becomes part of you. I mean, a lot of actors say that, and characters do, they become part of you. Yeah. But when you're being a dark character for a lot of the part of it is like, is that affecting who you are as a person and what you would do in real life as a person, and or just being worried that it is like that alone is bad enough. Just like worrying that
it is going to get to you, or it's going to cause you to be a little crazier.
Oh man, I mean,
it's like the Heath Ledger.
People think actors have like an easy job, but if you're into it like this, you literally can make yourself insane.
If you do the research and like get committed enough to like what the character could be. I mean, look at Heath Ledger. Like, ended up going so crazy with the Joker role that he, basically killed himself. I don't think he killed himself on purpose, but it was like. Oh, he died during that role. It gets real dark. You can
teach yourself or get into it enough that the darkness is in you, and then you can't sometimes get out of it. You know
exactly. It's bonkers.
I mean, it makes me like I want to do some like a thriller or horror or something one day, and I haven't done any. I've gotten close, like I've gotten cast, and then like it didn't happen, or things like that have happened to me, and they were like. And I think I'll just do one. I'll do one just to say I did it, and like then I just don't think I could. I'm not sure I can do it again because I just don't know. You do need to go there. You need to get there in your head, and like I just don't like being in those dark places. I don't even like watching movies like this. Thank God it's the middle of the day today, because if this was I don't watch these things at night. I mean, you probably can see in the time lapse, like I cover my face quite a few times in the time lapse.
What is happening?
I do not like to see that kind of stuff because I don't like it in my head. Because like even him, he was having these dreams of like he was reading the book about him killing his girlfriend, and then he dreamed that he killed his wife, and like then he woke up. He thought he woke up and realized he killed his wife, and then he actually woke up and then didn't kill his wife. And like I do those too.
Layers upon layers.
I have like all of these crazy dreams and stuff, and I just don't want that in my head.
Need this one added in there.
I don't want that in my head.
It's not fun. It's bonkers. Yeah. There's definitely times where you were hiding behind your notepad.
I did not. And then the music tells you when it's about to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
Oh, no, get ready.
But then lots of times it doesn't. Sometimes you were like, oh, everything's fine, and suddenly something happens. I'm totally was not ready for that, and that's what that's how they do it.
The suicide girl falling onto the concrete was definitely.
Thank God I was writing at that moment. I didn't see it.
That shocked the hell out of me. I was like, oh God, hello. Oh my God!
It showed it several times, so I still saw it later on.
Yeah, but the initial one where it happens and stuff. So I don't have a whole lot of other notes. Like I was actually pretty drawn into this movie. So it was like
story was good. Like going to the author, which you said. Sorry, I touched your microphone.
Oh my God!
You said the author's name sounds fake, and I think it does too.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, but like the writing for it was interesting. Yeah. I like the turns it took. I mean, and. What was I going to say?
Finley Phillips doesn't even have a Wikipedia page or anything.
See, that's freaky too.
It's like top secrets.
Top secrets. I know.
Oh,
I got that before you did.
I can't believe I missed it.
Yeah. I mean, it wraps it up to where the end. It wraps it up really fast when we realize that he did it. Then I do like that they explained it. They went back, but they did it really fast. Okay, so she was cheating on him with her professor. He kills her. He buries her. He goes to write a confession, but he writes this book instead, and then he does try to kill himself, but it doesn't work. He jumps out of a building, but he doesn't die. He gets amnesia. It looks like he was physically impaired too, because he was doing rehab of like moving his arms and legs and stuff like that.
You fall out of a building, you smash everything.
And they showed it like he was all laying funny. Yeah, I didn't like that. So I like that they wrap all that up and explain that part in a way, because you do kind of want to know how that actually happened.
Yeah, what is going to happen after he figures out that he had done it in the first place. I was a little upset that in this world, in this reality, I don't think we'll ever know, or he'll ever really know what happened between him and his ex-girlfriend that he killed. But according to the flashbacks, it became self-defense very quickly. And he didn't just murder her in cold blood of I'm jealous about this guy that you're sleeping with, and you can't believe you do that to me. It started that way, but But then she took the knife from him and cut him and attacked him and was like, "You're a pussy. You can't do this."
She cut him once in the hand.
She cut his arm. He could have bled out, but no, that's a little stretch. But she did take the knife, and she was antagonizing him.
She was antagonizing. It wasn't self-defense. I wouldn't say that.
She was the first one to hurt him.
Yes, but it wasn't self-defense.
It could have been, but we'll never know. If somebody cuts you,
He paused, like, oh no.
Why would you do that?
She's just standing there looking at him like,
but she was She was antagonizing.
She was, but that doesn't mean you do it.
No, that's true. He should have walked away. He should have walked away.
With that cut on his hand, he could have walked out the door.
Clearly, just been like, I'm done with this.
Oh, you're right. She antagonized him. She pushed it, but then his wife did it at the end too.
Yeah.
She said. Because he was like, I'm gonna kill her. I might kill you. She's like, you're not gonna do it. You're not that guy anymore. Grabbed the thing, gave it to him, put it to her own neck. And you could say she was antagonizing him too.
He was, but she also didn't attack him and cut him first.
No.
Like, she was showing that he has changed as a man.
Well, I know, but they're both
ran away in that.
They're both pushing him to do it.
Yeah,
they both were pushing him to do it.
It's not a great way to talk to somebody when they're holding a sharp object.
Well, that's the thing. It was like both very intense, thinking that he's well, and I think they both thought he's too nice of a guy to do it. Yeah. And he did do it the first time, and then he didn't do it the second time.
He learned. He grew.
And I found it interesting that the ending was sort of happy, almost. Like, it tried to be happy. Yeah. Like, he confessed, he went to jail. The other guy who was set up, or who got convicted of it, got set free. Yeah. They had a funeral for the girl. He
pays for
his family's visiting him in prison. Like, it looks all happy, but then he starts thinking about 23 again. Mm-hmm. So it kind of leads into a little bit of that. But generally, it's a happy ending, which doesn't. I feel like these kind of don't normally.
Yeah,
have
exactly.
that.
I think leaving on the 2:15, so it's 2 and 3.
So
like, I think they're setting it up that it's like we just will never know if it is a happy ending. Yeah. Which in this kind of world, like, you do want them. He's confessed to his crimes. He's been held accountable for it. So you want him to do his time and come out. But who knows? Like, being in prison is probably, I've never been.
probably not good for your
mental state.
Brain, like, if you have issues with.
He probably needs to be in a psych ward more than anything else.
Yeah.
But who knows? It was, pretty impressed. So let's talk about ratings. What are you going to give it?
I don't watch a lot of thrillers, so it's hard for me to say. I mean, I'd say like 7.5, probably. Yeah. It's like solid. Yeah.
It got panned by critics and stuff, and said it was not great, but I'll give it a 7.5 as well. I mean, we see Jim Carrey do something that he has not really done, but he starts off kind of endearing, so you're like, no, it's a Jim Carrey silliness thing, but he never really goes like full big acting that he does.
No, there's never any like of this big silliness in it, but he definitely flexed his acting chops on this one. I think it
was a descent into madness, and he did a pretty good job.
He did a great job of that. He's impressive in that respect. I'd say. For me, I think any ratings that are bad would be on the story, or being too long, or maybe some lacking in those issues.
Some of the cinematography was a little strange in how they edited it.
Yeah. So, I guess, again, I don't see enough of these to know, like, if I watch this and like what thriller gets like a 9 or 9.5 from these people. Like, I'd like to watch them together and see like what the difference would be.
And this is something that was compared when Eternal Sunshine came out. They compared it a little bit to Memento, just because that was another one of those weird like amnesia, memory erasing movies. So like, if you and I go watch Memento it is, I guess, kind of a psychological thriller. Like, that is top tier. Like, we don't know who is the good guy, who's the bad guy, who did this, what do these meanings have? It has a lot of like tattoos and numbers and things of like notes that are never really clear.
Right.
Like, that's something you should watch in order to get a real good like feel of what a psychological thriller should feel like. That's
like a good pinnacle of what you should go for. And
I think that's probably where the bar is set for like, that's good. That's high quality.
Everybody
stuff.
Agrees on that.
Yes, very much. Everybody agrees with Memento being like an intense psychological weird. It's
on my
movie.
list.
Yeah. So funny thing that this is an 8% tomato meter rating, so 8% terrible on Rotten Tomatoes. Has a 56% audience score, so obviously critics did not like it, did not think it was worth the time, or did not think that thought it was clumsy, unengaging, and mostly confusing, which there are parts where it's like that.
I agree with that.
At the end of the movie, it's a B minus. It's a B plus, B minus.
Okay.
So it's all right, you know.
Okay.
I think
kind of sad because I think he hasn't really. Is this the only one he's done like this?
I think so.
Because he's good. I think he should try it again.
Yeah, I think I totally think he should.
Because I don't know, maybe don't want to, but
yeah,
I don't think it has anything to do with his acting. I think it had to do with the story being confusing.
Yeah, no, people were like, this film's worst star vehicle is worse. It's like, this is one of the worst movies of 2007.
I don't think so.
Who knows? I mean, Ghost Rider came out the same weekend or second weekend, so that was Nicolas Cage as like in a Marvel character, and somehow that one made more money than this one did, but barely.
Maybe sometimes people just aren't ready to see Jim in different
so I mean,
genres.
it had a budget of $30 million. Was released on February 23rd, 2007. And it ended up making $77.6 million. So they little over double its money back. Yeah. I was wondering, if everybody has two roles that they're playing, do they have to pay all the actors double the money? It's like weird. And then I had one last note. The guy who plays the boyfriend that was with the girl before he killed her, he had probably one of the most intense and best moments in the movie, where he's talking to Jim Carrey in the prison.
Yeah.
I had a note. It's like, this guy in prison is the strongest actor in the movie.
He didn't have much, but that
what he
moment
did
was good.
He had a lot of truth to it, and it's like, man, this is
he was good.
Even against Jim Carrey, who is the star person, man, this guy is really holding his own. Well, he was in control.
Well, he was very in control, and he knew he was innocent. And so I think you see the conviction behind that. Whereas Jim is still trying to figure things out and doesn't understand what's going on. And now looking back, the guy probably knew that he was the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah, he probably knew.
So that's why he said, "I've been waiting for you to come." And Jim was like, didn't understand
what are you talking about?
Why he was saying that. So I mean, I think he played that. He played that part knowing full well that he understood what was the real situation, whereas Jim didn't.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. So
or Walter didn't.
Yeah, Walter Fingerling.
Yeah.
Top secrets. Oh my gosh, that's so dumb. All right, so we're at 32 minutes, which is the opposite of 23. So we should. One more minute. We should wrap this.
They do have that a lot in the movie too, where it's like it's not just 23. 32 also counts as part of the 23 craziness.
Yeah.
So
and that's not 32 minutes of us talking. That's 32 minutes of me recording audio that I'll cut down.
Okay, good.
So,
good.
Anyway,
hopefully it doesn't end.
Thank you guys for hanging out, watching us talk about the number 23. I'm Brian Kondrach.
And Carrie Grant.
Please subscribe, comment on us on our things, follow us on Anchor or Spotify podcast. I'm having trouble speaking. The numbers are getting to me.
Whatever you could find.
This is our 29th episode, which if you take away 6, then you get 23. Go watch our 23rd episode, which was I don't even remember anymore. Probably Man on the Moon or something.
Quit trying to make yourself insane.
Yeah, go read into it. Anyway, join us next time. We are going to be watching Horton Hears a Who, a much brighter, lighter, and animated movie that's a pretty big pendulum swing away from the number 23.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So anyway, you guys be safe, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
What is it? How many minutes was that?
Hurry up, turn it off!
What did that?